Hi everyone, it's Miss Elaine here from the Firehouse Art Center. I'm coming to you live from my house. I've moved to the upstairs because we're actually having work done downstairs. So if you hear some banging and hammering, that is the guys downstairs. So I apologize if it gets a little loud. We are going to wait until 1, which is when the class starts. I'm actually just looking on Facebook because I want to be able to respond to your comments if you are watching live. Obviously, you can watch later and draw at your own convenience. Until 1, which is when the class starts. Oh, there we go. So if you guys are watching, comment, say hi, tell me where you're from. I love seeing where everyone is from and how everyone is joining. I'm just getting set up. Today we are going to be drawing a dinosaur drawing, but really you can use this technique that we're going to do with any drawing that you have. So this is the line drawing right now, and it's just a grid technique. So I'm just going to teach you how to use a grid to copy drawings, to kind of do your own studies. And this is how I'm going to show you at the end of the class how you can use your grid for any drawings that you might want to do. So you can use them for like if you like artwork that you wanted to put into your sketchbook and you wanted to color and do your own kind of drawing, put your style in, you can use the grid drawing for that. If you wanted to copy photographs, so if you had a photograph that you wanted to do as artwork, you can use the grid technique to map it all out and turn it into a drawing. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. And really, these supplies are very simple. All you need are, you need your paper, you need a ruler, and this is just to do your guidelines, and you need a pencil. So, pencil. So you need a pencil, ruler, and paper. And I am going to switch the screen down so we can get started. And before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later to make your artwork. The Firehouse Art Center is located in downtown Longmont, and we're closed right now, but we are very much looking forward to when we get to reopen and we get to see everyone again live during the classes and also during our exhibits. So check us out on firehouseart.org. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming online while we're closed, but hopefully we'll get to see you when we reopen. So I'm going to switch it down. Okay. There we go. There. So here are my two drawings, and you'll see that this is, I have a couple steps. This is the pencil drawing or the line drawing. This one is the finished drawing when it's colored. So I am going to put this right here, and I'm going to show you how you take your drawing from start to finish. So first things first, we're just going to take our piece of paper, and there are two ways to do this, and I'll show you the easiest way. Now, the easiest way to get your grid, which is 8 quadrants, is to fold. If you don't want fold lines, then you would need to measure. But the easiest way to do it is to just fold. You fold in half like a taco. Then you unfold that, fold in half again like a burrito. Okay, so now you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you have 4 quadrants, but you want to get 8. So you're going to fold this to that fold line. And then you're going to fold the bottom part to the fold line. So now you have 8. Well, obviously. You end up having 16. Okay, so yes, the final is 16. And then you fold this to the fold line, and then you fold the side to the fold line. So through folding, you have, and we're going to count them because obviously I counted wrong last time, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there are 16 quadrants. There are 16 pieces in this grid. And once you have your fold lines, you can take your pencil and make sure it's a pencil with a good eraser, because you're going to need to erase the guidelines at the end. And you're going to make your grid very lightly. So if you can see your fold lines, you don't have to make your grid lines unless you want to. Move this. So try and do these lightly, because this is not part of your drawing. This is just the guidelines. These are just the guidelines that are going to help you draw. Okay. So then there's that line. So as you can see those fold lines without making the guidelines, without making the pencil guidelines. So it's totally your choice whether you want to make your pencil lines or not. I'm going to make them just because I think it helps in showing you how we're going to proceed with this drawing. Okay, so I'm going to put my line drawing right here. And I'm going to try and center it so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so you see that there are all the pieces marked right here. Okay, and they're all the same lines right here. So you want to look at your drawing and you want to see, okay, so I'm going to go top right. So you want to match it up. And whatever you see in this one right here, you want to transfer into this one. So it's just kind of seeing where the lines are. So you'll see there is the line for his nose all the way up to here, right here. Okay, so all you're doing is copying what you see from here to here. Okay, so for this top one, you're going to draw his nose just like that, right here. Then this space right next to it, there's another line. And then from here to this corner is where his eye is going to stop. So you're going to draw a bump all the way to this corner right here. Okay? Now, you're going to look and see where his eye is. So do you see his eye is sitting right here on this line, and it is about halfway from here to here. So this is the grid part. You're going to go halfway, and you're going to start his eye. And then you can do his eyeball. Just like that. So that is sitting right here on this rectangle, right halfway, sitting right on that line. See that? Now we're going to go back to this part right here. So this section, I'm going to draw the circle for his nose on one side, and then I'm going to come almost to this corner right here, and I'm going to draw his other nose. And actually, I'm going to draw these lines a little bit darker because I want you guys to see, and so don't draw yours too dark. I'm going to draw mine darker just so you guys can see, because I feel like it's hard to tell where your drawing is supposed to be unless you see the grid lines on mine. So do not make your guidelines as dark as mine, because you're going to have to erase them. In my final drawing, you'll just see those guidelines. So mine is going to look a little bit different from yours. Okay, there. So that might make it a little bit easier. Okay, so now that we have our grid lines and you see your dinosaur right there. So right now we have his nose and his eye. I'm going to go over to this square right here, and you'll see there's nothing in it. So I'm not going to put anything there. Then I'm going to go to this square right here, and there's nothing in it. So I'm not going to put anything in this one. I'm going to go down to the second row, this one right here. Now you'll see that on my second row right here, and I'm going to move it so you guys can see. So my second row right here and right here is where the top of his nose is and the bottom of his mouth. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So this line right here is halfway from the top to the bottom. So I'm just going to make sure, yep, that's where that is. I'm going to go down. So it's this and this. And I'm going to make his smiley part. And then the bottom of his chin goes right here. So you're just copying what you see in this area right here into here. I'm going to add the teeth. And the teeth on the top. Okay, so now I have this area done. So this right here is this right here. Now I'm going to move on to this part. So this part of my drawing. So I've got my chin. So I'm going to continue with my chin. It's going to go up. And it's going to end halfway up the rectangle and about 1/4 inch in. Okay, so that's this line right here. I'm gonna bring it in like that. And that's his jaw line right there. Now I'm gonna do the bottom of his mouth, and it's gonna go to about here. And I'm going to do the top, just like that. So now we have this line copied onto our rectangle right here. And now you can add the teeth. Just like that. Okay? So now I have his chin and his jawline, and I want to make sure I have his chest, which is right here. And so this line right there is going to go halfway in. So you'll see it's 1/2, 1/2. So I'm going to go 1/2 in, and I'm going to connect it like that. So now we have this section right here. We have this section right here. And now we're going to do this third section right here. So if you look, we're going to start right here at this corner, right here at this corner. It's going to come down, and it's going to go all the way to this corner, just like that. Then we're going to go to here, which is right here. And there's nothing right here, but then there's the tail. So the tail is going to go, once again, halfway in, and it's going to curve like that. So right now there's nothing here that connects to the tail, but it will get there in a little bit. Okay? So now we've got 2 rows of our drawing done. We've got this row and we've got this row. So we're halfway done with our drawing. Okay? And we've got a pretty good replication. So we have made a pretty good copy of this original drawing right here. So now we're going to go to this section right here, which is this section in our drawing. And there's nothing there, so we're not going to put anything here. We're going to move to this one right here, which happens to be this guy. So if you look at this guy right here, and then this one, that's where we're copying it. We're going to start right at the top where the chest ends, right here. You're going to draw a line. And then we get to do his hand. So this hand is behind. So you're going to see it come up like this. It comes all the way to the top of the line. Then you're going to come down and draw his claws. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So just like this, we have it right there. Can come up, come back down, right back to where his body is, right here. So we're going to connect this right here. And then we're going to do this arm. So this arm comes down from this grid line. See this grid line right here? And this grid line, we're going to match it up. And it's going to go directly to the edge of this grid line for his elbow. So it's going to come out just like that. And then it's going to come down. So his elbow touches this grid line just like it touches right there, okay? When it gets to the chest right here, then we draw the claws just like that. So 1 clawed hand right there, 1 clawed hand right there. And then we've got the chest line coming all the way down. So that goes to a little bit lower than half, just like that. And then we end right there. Okay? Now we're going to deal with this leg coming out right here. So it goes about 1/4 of an inch out. So we're going to do the same distance right here. And we're connecting it back up to the chest, to the body right there. Okay? And that is all we have in this section. So in this section, we've got the hands, we've got the body, and we've got the start of the leg. Same thing here. Okay, now I'm going to move this so you guys can see it because we're going to do this section next. Now this section has the part of the body right here, part of one leg, and then it's got the thigh of the other leg right here. Okay, so we're going to do that in this section right here. So I'm going to start actually right here at the top. And it's really just a teeny weeny little line for where the back is. And then that's it. And then we can start with the body. We're going to start with this line now. It goes from where this line ends to halfway. So it's going to stop right here halfway because this is where the thigh is. So coming back up here, so we're going to be at the top of this grid. We're going to go 1/2 inch down and we're going to make his thigh just like this. Okay, it's going to go all the way to the bottom. Then we're going to go almost to the end of this grid and right here to the edge of this grid, we're going to make the back side of his thigh, just like that. Okay. So now we have this part of the drawing done. We have, oh wait, I forgot the back end of his other leg. Goes right there. Okay, so looking at the lines, you're going to see this line right here, which is right here. You're going to see the back side of his leg, which is right here. The front side of his front thigh, which is right here. The back side of his front leg, which is right here. And you're going to connect the underside of his tail. And right here is the very top of his back. So now we should have this part finished as well. Now looking to the next square, next rectangle, it's going to be a large portion of his tail. So you want to look at it as a rectangle and just look at it as lines. So lines that we need to do for this part are his back right here. We're going to start right at the top and come down. And then we're going to do the top of his tail. So connect it to this line right here. It's going to come down and meet that other line just like that. Then we're going to do the back side of the tail coming down. And it comes to about halfway in, a little bit less than half. So it's going to go like that. Okay? So now if we look at our drawing that we've made using the grid lines, we have almost the whole dinosaur done. All we need now are his feet. So we're going to look at our main drawing here. And we'll see there's nothing in this square. So we're not going to put anything in this. And for this one, we're just going to have the front of his leg and his toes. Okay? So I'm going to put it right here so you guys can see. We're doing this rectangle right here. We're going to start with this line right here. So it's about 1/4 of an inch in, connect it to this line, and it's just going to go like that. And it's going to go into this grid line. And then we're going to stop. The next thing that we do is the top of his foot, about halfway up. So I'm going to go halfway up here. And I'm going to do the top of his foot, his 3 claws, and then the bottom of his foot, just like that. Okay. Now we're going to go to this section right here, because that was it. We just had the front of his leg and the toes and his foot for this last rectangle. We're going to go to this section, this section. Now, if you look, we're going to start at the top and we're going to do the back of his leg. It's going to come down and we're going to connect right there. Okay, so it's going to curve this way, curve in like that, and then we're going to do the bottom of his foot, just like there's a curve here, curve down, and then the bottom of his foot. Okay, so we've copied that line. There's this little line right here, which is the front of his leg right there, so you can do that. Now we get to do this part. So we're going to start at the top right here again. It's about halfway, so meet up with this line right here. You're going to do the little knob for the knee. You're going to come back for the front of his leg, come down, and you're going to do his front foot, the claws, and come back down like that. So now you have his foot right here. You have the front of his leg and his knee going into the thigh. Now we're going to do this part right here. So you'll see that there's just a little triangle right here. So we're going to come in and make a little triangle. Come back to the side of the grid line right here. And then that's it. We're done for that rectangle. So now we only have one part of the dinosaur left, which is the back part of his foot and the bottom of his tail. Okay, so I'm going to move this so you guys can see. We're just doing this section right here, and then the underside of his tail. So let's do his tail because that's an easy part. All you have to do is go boop and do the bottom of his tail right there, just like that. Now to do the back of his foot, you're just going to make this little triangle shape right here, and it's going to go just like that. And we have successfully used the grid technique to copy our drawing. So all you have to do is think about it as a separate piece. So each rectangle is a separate piece, and you just copy what's in that piece. So for this rectangle, which is the first one, all we did was the top of the nose right here. And we have one nostril and then the other nostril. Then we moved on to this rectangle. All we did was copy the top of his nose right here, the top of his eye, his eyeball, and going all the way to the corner. Then there was nothing for these two, so there's nothing on these two. Then we move down one, and thinking of it just as lines on a rectangle, we go to this rectangle right here, this one. We copy the front of his mouth, his teeth, his bottom teeth, and the bottom part of his mouth right here. Okay? Then we do this rectangle, which is right here. You do the bottom of his jaw, this line right here, that line right there. You copy the chest part right there. You get the mouth, and his cheek. And that's really all that is for that rectangle. If we move it out a little bit further, we do this rectangle right here, which is just one line, which is the back of his, this right here, which is part of his back. And we do that same one line diagonal on this rectangle. This last rectangle is where his tail is. And so this rectangle, if you just look at it separated like this, is just this tilting triangle, just like this. And you copy it right here. So thinking of it as a rectangle that's separate from all its parts, but then in the end comes together and works together, that's a really easy way to replicate a drawing that you're trying to do. So once again, this one right here, nothing. Right here, nothing. His arms and his chest, we've got his arm, chest, arm, chest, the top of his leg right here. Moving on to this one, we've got the bottom of the dinosaur right here. You've got his back leg right here, bottom of the dinosaur, back leg, front leg, back of the thigh. You have the underside and the very top of his back. Then this next piece right here is his tail. So you copy the same lines. It's the line going down his back, the line going up the front of the tail, the line on the back end of the tail, and that's it. So going back to here, nothing, just the front of his leg right here, and then the toes and the foot. Then we've got this one right here. You've got the back of his leg right here and the bottom of his foot. Then you have the front of his knee, the front of his leg, the top of his foot right here, and his toes. Then you do the bottom line for his foot and the back of his leg right here. And that's all for that. Then the last rectangle is this one right here. All you have is the very bottom of his tail and the back of the foot. So now that you have your dinosaur, I'm going to move this here. And I will put a copy of this drawing on the Facebook page for the Firehouse Art Center Facebook page. So you guys can reference this drawing as you're working. And then after this is going live, you can reference it you know, at your own convenience when you get to doing your drawing. But I'm going to take my original, and I won't color the drawing in. You guys can color it however you want, but I'm going to show you guys. This is my drawing right here, and I'll lift it up just a little bit so you guys can see more of it. Does that help? No. Maybe if I do this. Okay. There. Okay, fantastic. So now you see the whole drawing. We're going to do the sun, which the sun goes right here in this. So the sun goes right here. And you can do the light lines coming off of it. I'm going to come 1, 2, 3 down. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the volcano goes right here. And then this section right here comes to about there. And that is our drawing. So if you want to see the full drawing, there's the volcano, the sun, the dinosaur, and you'll see all of the lines that I've made in this one. I just drew with a black crayon and colored them in green. I did brown and green mixture here. I did the volcano brown with the red lava coming down. And I have the sun yellow, and I put a little red on it, and the light lines coming out of the sun, and I colored the inside of his mouth red. That's how I finished my drawing coloring. Now, you guys can color it however you want to do it. If you want your, I guess it's the T-Rex. If you want your T-Rex to be red and brown, you can do it that way. If you want your landscape to be just green and have like palm trees instead of a volcano, you can change it up that way. But you have your main character, who is the dinosaur, that we did with our grid technique. And I'm going to move this to the side because I just want to show you how you can use your grid technique to help you replicate other drawings as well. So not just this dinosaur. You can take this technique and you can use it with every kind of medium. So this is a picture that I got from my Game Informer. And I just picked it out because it was really cute, and also it would fill the page, but then it has like this very strong diagonal, and I wanted to copy everything that was on it, but I wanted to take this out and take some of the elements out. So how would I do that? I took it and I prepared it the same way that I prepared our paper. So all I did was I folded it out, I ripped it out of my magazine, folded it, and just had the image that I wanted to replicate. Then I folded the image in half, just like we did with our paper in the beginning, in half again. So I'm going to create the same 16 rectangles that we did for our dinosaur. But this time I'm going to use an image that somebody else created that I want to replicate to add my own style to. So if you can't see them, the grid lines are now right here, actually, and I'll use a crayon, see if that works. So you can grid out really anything. And you can use this technique to replicate more complicated drawings. So if you were coming from a photograph, if you wanted to draw a picture of your family and you have a photograph of your family, you can grid out your picture, and then you can see where the main lines are for the parts that you want to take into your drawing. So if you look right here, you could have that be one of your main lines. And then you would create your grid like this. So once again, folding it, making your grid lines, and then going through and saying, okay, well here, this one is just his thumb because I don't want to do this. I'm just going to copy his thumb. Then this next section right here, I've got the line for the outside of his face and his hat. The next section is the back of the hat and a little bit of his collar. The next one right here would be the top of his arm right here. And then moving down. So this one you have his arm and his shirt. This one you have the rest of his shirt, the bottom of his face and his backpack. Moving on, you have his shirt right here, his arm, the bottom of this arm. I'm going to disregard this because I don't want this in my next drawing. And then you just see what you want to include in your rectangle. So this rectangle would have the bottom of his shoe, his leg going off the side of the paper. So you can use this grid technique to replicate drawings from here to here. You can use it to replicate things that you find in magazines, whether they're pictures or artwork. And it's really just a fun way to transfer. So if you look, if I was going to transfer this onto a paper this big, I can't copy it exactly because this one is smaller than this. But it's a great way to take something that you like. So whether this was really tiny or whether it was really big, you can take something you like and you can resize it onto the medium you have using your grid technique. So that is our lesson for today. Once again, I'm going to post this drawing and this one, just so you can see the line drawing, on the Facebook page underneath the event. So if you go to Firehouse Art, their Facebook page, there is an event for this class. And I'm going to post these pictures on it just so you can use these as a reference for when you draw your own drawing. And then that way you can follow along. And if you end up doing the drawing, whether you use your grid technique to draw something else or to draw the dinosaur, definitely post your pictures on that event. We at the Firehouse love to see drawings from the kiddos. And I'm going to turn the screen up so you guys can see me again. And I apologize for the window being right behind me. It makes it very, very bright. But thank you so much for coming to the class today. Hopefully you had fun drawing your dinosaur. So you take it from the grid pattern to the line drawing, all the way to the finished color drawing. And for your finished color drawing, you can make the landscape however you want. If you want to follow the landscape that I have, that's awesome. I'd love to see your pictures. And then using the grid technique to replicate anything that you want. So whether it's another piece of artwork, if it's a photo, you can use it for that. And you can just take that technique and use it however you want. So once again, my name's Elaine Waterman. I'm coming to you from my house, but from the Firehouse Art Center. We are located in downtown Longmont. You can't visit us right now, but we hope to open very soon, and hopefully you will visit us again at the gallery very soon. For our art classes are Saturday Art Experience, and we also have art classes throughout the week and throughout the month, Art of Possibilities, and also Spark, and Art Attack at Casa de la Esperanza. So hopefully we'll begin classes again soon in person. But until then, we hope to have our virtual online live stream classes. We're posting them on YouTube, and you can also draw at your own convenience on our Facebook page as well. So thanks for coming to class. I will see you again on Wednesday. We are going to be doing a watercolor painting using salt technique to create kind of a fun, different way of using watercolor. And then we're going to do the silhouettes of the dinosaurs in the front. You can use either black marker or black paper if you have it. I try to be aware that some of you might not have all of the supplies at home. So hopefully we're using things that you do have at home. And that's Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to be doing a glue resist dinosaur fossil painting. So check the Facebook page, see what we have to offer. And I hope to see you back here again on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.